Good morning, students, and we are into Indian Corporate Law third chapter shares. Okay, so we have discussed with regard to share certificate on different parameters. So we have understood all these concepts in the last class. Share certificate, when shares are to be issued, what are the things to be followed for issue of shares, etc. Now today we will understand share certificate in electronic form. Last class also briefly I told about this. I told that at present today we have dematerialized form of share certificate, that is demat account we say, where it is being uh, issued by two depository participants, NSDL and CDSL, okay, Central Depository Services Limited and National Securities Depository Limited. Both are depository participant or agent of depository who are part of this dematerialization demat accounts aspect. Okay, so effects of issue of certificate. What happens when we issue certificates? Legal effects. Estoppel as to title of certificate. So if a share certificate is issued to an individual, nobody can stop him from claiming that he is the owner of that particular shares. So we can say that share certificate is an evidence of the title to the shares specified, and it stops the company from denying that title to the member whose name is mentioned in it. However, it is not a conclusive evidence as to title of the shares to the member. The register of members maintained by the company as the register of it is a conclusive evidence. Of course, we can say that the person who carries the share certificate is a legal owner of the shares, and nobody, even company, cannot stop him from claiming that he is having the legal title of the shares. But when we say that, of course, it is not a conclusive evidence. In order to say that a person is a member in the company, his name has to be entered in the register of members. So that they say very clearly. So next is estoppel as to payment. So all of you know, when there is share certificate, there will be a payment on shares, and there is a payment from the applicant side and payment from the company side too. Okay, so company side payment is all dividend and repayment of share capital, and from the applicant side or the person share certificate holder side payment is partly paid of shares are to be fully paid, that is he has to pay call money and all that stuff. So if a share certificate states that shares specified therein are fully paid up to the extent of amount specified therein, the company shall be stopped from denying that the purchaser of share for value are alleging that they are not fully paid up. So if the share certificate mentions that the shares are fully paid up, a company cannot say that it is not fully paid up. So then issue of duplicate certificate, of course, this particular concept does not come into the picture at present because of demat form of accounts. But of course, when there was earlier, we had the system of physical form of share certificate. This particular system was in place. So when the share certificate is torn or mutilated or defaced, then they can apply for the share certificate. Or when the original share certificate is lost or it is destroyed, then also they can apply for the duplicate certificate. So when they are applying for the duplicate certificate, what are the procedure for the issue of this duplicate certificate? So one is the submission of application by the shareholder to the company secretary along with the original share certificate and the necessary form if there is. And on receiving the application, company secretary issue a lodgement certificate as an acknowledgement for the surrender of original certificate, and company secretary then places the matter before the board, okay, for consideration, passing the board resolution for approving the issue of duplicate certificates. See, board of director is there in the company and they have to pass the resolution in the meeting for issue of board of duplicate certificate. And then there is the register of members in which that has to be written the word duplicate, okay, and delivery of duplicate certificate against the lodgement receipt issued by the shareholder, making an entry in the register of members for issue of duplicate certificate. Now if the share certificate is destroyed or lost, that is in case of multilated or defaced share certificate and all that. Now if the share certificate, original share certificate he does not have, then he should apply for the that is application has to be given with the statutory declaration, indemnity board and necessary fees, okay, and the cost of public notice as well. Giving the public notice in the leading newspapers by the company secretary regarding the loss of original certificate, informing that the public whoever has it, please return it, and then placing the matter before the board, convening the board meeting, and then passing the resolution for duplicate certificate, and of course then dispatching the duplicate certificate and entering it in the register of members for the issue of duplicate certificate. So if there is a defraud, okay, issue of duplicate certificate with the intention to defraud others, if there is an issue of certificate to defraud the other actual shareholders in the company, then see the fine of which it is being taken to be fine up to 10 times of the face value of the company, okay, or of the 5 times of the face value involved in the duplicate shares, or sometimes 10 crores, whichever is higher. See the amount of the fine they are putting, because it is against the legality of the document, correct? So then the concept of share warrant. So we will discuss the share warrant, what it is, and provisions with regard to share warrant. Okay, so share warrant is a bearer document of the title issued by the company under its common seal against the fully paid up shares, stating that its bearer is entitled to certain number of shares mentioned therein. So bearer means the person who holds that particular document. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ನೋಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಸರು ಬರ್ದು ಉಂಟಾ ನಮ್ಮದು ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ when we have that particular note, who is the owner of it? The person who has it, correct? So same way, share certificate is a document to be issued for the fully paid up shares wherein name and other details are not mentioned, okay, ಇದು ಯಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So those who own that particular share warrant is the owner of the shareholder. So only public companies can issue share warrant, and there must be provisions in the articles of association with regard to issue of this share warrant, and permission from the central government must have been obtained, and at least 1 year must have been elapsed from the date of registration of the company, and company cannot issue share warrants originally. So it can be issued only conversion of share certificate. So share certificate comes the first, okay. Then of course let us understand the differences between share certificate and share warrant. It is easy. So which company can issue the share certificate? Both private and public, but share warrant only public company. Permission from articles, no permission in case of share certificate, but permission is absolutely necessary from in case of public for share warrant. And even central government permission is not necessary for issue of share certificate, but share warrant it is necessary. Paid up value shares certificate can be partly paid up or fully paid up, but for share warrant shares have to be fully paid up only. Time of issue, it can be issued originally, but it cannot be issued originally but after the registration of the certificate. Membership right, the holder is a member of the company, but holder is not the member of the company, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಸರು ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. Right to become the director, holder can become the director, but here no right to become the director. ನೆಗೋಷಿಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಂದ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುವ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಇದು ಹಾಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಶೇರ್ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಶೇರ್ ವಾರೆಂಟನ್ನು ನೆಗೋಷಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರಬಲ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್. ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್, ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಪೇಡ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ವಾರೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಕೂಪನ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಪ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ, ನಾಮಿನಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಪ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ, ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಶೇರ್ ವಾರೆಂಟ್ ಹೆವಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಪ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪೇಡ್. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಶೇರ್ ವಾರೆಂಟ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆವು. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಐ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಶೇರ್ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ lecture, but here too I have mentioned some of the aspects of share certificate, especially what are the legal effect and all, and then we moved on with the share warrant, and also we discussed with regard to share warrant and share certificate differences. So I hope you will understand this particular concept. So thank you everyone.